Hello students, today I am going to talk about two things in this. These are the methods for the concentration of the ores. In lecture 1 I have told you what are the various ores, and we were talking about the concentration of the ores, removal of impurities, removal of gangue from the ores. And we have described the hydraulic washing, hydraulic means pressure washing, then we have given you the magnetic separation. Now in this method I am talking of froth flotation process. This is very important method for mainly used for sulfide ores. ZNS, PBS, CuFeS2. Sulfide ores can be concentrated by the froth flotation method, and the principle of this is based on that the sulfide ores are wetted preferentially by oils. I am using here pine oil. They are preferentially wetted by oils, and gangue or the impurities are wetted by water. There is a difference in the wetting properties. The sulfide ores contain sulfur. Sulfur is hydrophobic. It has a larger size. It is not attracted by the water. And pine oil absorbs the sulfide ores on its surface, and the impurities, the gangues go with the water. So in this, basically what we need is, actually what will happen is that we will take a powdered, what we are going to do, take a powdered ore plus water, and we will like to give a rotation to this, and we will also add pine oil in this. We will try to rotate this and will bubble air so that froth is formed. What is our basic? We want froth to be formed. So when froth will be formed, the froth will contain what? The froth will have with it sulfide ores. The sulfide ores will contain froth because the sulfide ores are wetted by the oil and sulfide ores. We will rotate it and will bubble air through this. By the bubbling of air, what will happen? The froth is lighter. It will come on the top, and then we can skim off. Can be skimmed off. So the basic idea is clear, students, that what I will be doing in froth flotation process. Let me give you something more about this. That basically froth flotation process involves collectors. Collectors are those which can collect the sulfide ores and form froth with it. These are mainly what I said: pine oil or xanthates or fatty acids. So ethyl xanthates have been used for this purpose. These ethyl xanthates or fatty acids, or what they will do, pine oil, they will absorb the sulfide ores, and the gangue will settle down, and this is being attracted. This has a affinity for water. So one thing is, there will be collectors which we are using, and what we are using, ethyl xanthate, CH3CH2O C double bond S S minus Na plus. So this is our ethyl xanthate, and you have terpenyl type of oils. They will take the sulfide ores with that. But once the froth is formed, students, do we need froth stabilizers? Second thing you need is froth stabilizers. Phenols can be used as froth stabilizers, or you can use aniline also. Aniline can also be used, or cresols. These are creosotes or aniline. They stabilize the froth. See what we are doing basically. Let us see. Here is my powdered ore in this, powdered ore in the water, powdered in the water. Here I am saying that I have something like this. This is a paddle, rotating paddle. And here you have powdered ore, water, and pine oil. So what will happen? We will blow air. What we can do? We can blow. You can blow air from this. Air is blown from this. What will be the result of this? When air will go, then bubbles will be formed, froth will be formed, and as the froth will be formed, the froth will start collecting on the top. This is the froth. So froth contains the sulfide ores, but it can again break down. Therefore, we want to stabilize the froth. For this, we are adding froth stabilizers, which are creosotes or aniline. They increase the wetting properties of the sulfide with oils, with pine oil, and the gangu will be here, all your gangu. So sulfide ores can be concentrated by using froth stabilizers, then collectors, froth stabilizer. These are the two things which we are using in this, which have been asked in the exam. Another important thing about the froth flotation is the use of depressants. This is important because sodium cyanide can be used as a depressant if you have a mixture of two ores. If you have mixture of two ores, ZnS and PbS, the two can be separated by using NaCN as a depressant. What it does? Powdered or pine oil collectors, froth stabilizers, then you add sodium cyanide. If you have a mixture of the two, what happens is that the zinc sulfide will react with the sodium cyanide, and you know zinc forms a complex which is soluble complex of zinc is formed, ZnCN4, and here you can say that this is 2 plus 2 minus, so Na2ZnCN4 is a complex which will be formed. This is a soluble complex. Therefore, zinc will be present in the aqueous medium as a soluble complex, and PbS will form froth and can be collected from froth. So by using a depressant, we can depress the formation of froth by the zinc, by the formation of the tetracyanozincate complex, and the result of this is that we can collect lead sulfide as a ore in the froth. So this helps in separation of the mixture of two ores by using a sodium cyanide as a depressant. Now we are coming to the next part of it, students, that I am talking of leaching. Leaching is a chemical process. Leaching is a chemical method in which will be used when your ore particles are soluble in a suitable solvent and gangu particles not soluble in the solvent. So let us see the leaching of bauxite. Ore. The most important ore of aluminium is bauxite. The leaching of bauxite is done by treating with concentrated sodium hydroxide solution. So what we do is we react Al2O3 with NaOH, sodium hydroxide, water, and it forms a sodium Aluminium forms a meta-aluminate, sodium meta-aluminate. Sodium meta-aluminate is formed. Al3 plus this sodium. This is sodium meta-aluminate. Sodium meta-aluminate. Aqueous. This is soluble. This is a soluble complex which is formed by the alumina. So what is the result of this? You will be able to get a sodium aluminate which is soluble complex. The temperature which is used is in this case we are using 473 to 573 Kelvin temperature, and pressure is also around 30 to 35 atmosphere. So under these conditions what we get is bauxite is soluble in concentrated sodium hydroxide form, sodium meta-aluminate, it is soluble, and the impurities which are the main impurities in this are titanium dioxide, SiO2, Fe2O3. These are the main impurities in this. These two impurities remain, and SiO2 also react with NaOH to form Na2SiO3. This forms sodium silicate. Sodium silicate is formed in this, and this is also formed as sodium silicate is also formed in this. So the main impurities which are there as TiO2 and Fe2O3 left behind. So this is also soluble. Sodium silicate is formed in this case. Now you have got sodium meta-aluminate. Sodium meta-aluminate is there, soluble. This is soluble. Then the pH is adjusted. pH is adjusted by passing carbon dioxide gas. The carbon dioxide gas is bubbled through this. The result of this is you have AlOH4. You bubble carbon dioxide gas through this, students. And what will be the result of this? When you bubble carbon dioxide gas through this, you will get Al2O3. Alumina will be formed, and with some X water molecules, water is also there. So what is happening that if you take 2 Ca2, then 2 NaSiO3. Balancing is something you can do, students. So what is the result of this? You are getting now Al2O3, H2O, and silicate will be left behind. This is a solid which is coming out. You can wash this Al2O3, H2O, filter it, wash, filter, and then we can heat this Al2O3 at a temperature of 1473 Kelvin. Now you have Al2O3 H2O 1473 Kelvin heat, and you will be able to get Al2O3. So you get the bauxite, and what will happen? The water XH2O goes. So here you can get alumina concentrated. The bauxite ore is concentrated by the leaching using NaOH solution. The sodium aluminium forms a soluble complex which is your sodium aluminate and sodium meta-aluminate, and silicon dioxide also forms sodium silicate in aqueous solution. The main impurities are titanium dioxide, Fe2O3. They are in the gangu, they fall down, and then we can adjust the pH by passing carbon dioxide gas. Then you will get alumina. Then this is heated at 1473 Kelvin, and you get the leaching of the alumina. Two more ores which are used for concentration by leaching process are gold and silver. So leaching of gold and silver by using KCN or NaCN. Gold and silver ores are leached by using potassium cyanide or about 0.5% dilute solution of NaC or KCN. What is done is, in this case, that if you have silver ore, the silver ore is oxidized, this is oxidized by air, oxygen and water. A current of oxygen and air is passed to this is oxidized, and once the silver is oxidized to Ag plus, it is reacted with cyanide, as we get Cn minus from the two to form a complex which is AgCN2 minus. So this is a dicyanoargentine complex will be formed. Students, this is a soluble complex, and then we can reduce this by zinc to form silver or gold. So this is the story that we have to do here. So you have silver, you will react with supposing Cn minus, here I am using Ag plus Cn, and then you are passing here water and oxygen is present. So what is the result of this water oxygen? You will get AgCN twice complex. This is minus, so that you have Cn minus Ag. This is a complex which is formed 4 Ag. So if I use 4 Ag, so what is this, and what will be the result of this cyanide complex? And you get hydroxide. So here you can balance this. Now here what has happened? The silver is in zero oxidation state, and oxygen and water, they are oxidizing silver. What is the oxidation state of silver here? This is silver is in +1 oxidation state, as you can see. 2Cn minus -1. So silver is oxidized from 0 to +1 oxidation state in this case. Now this is your complex which is a dicyanoargentate complex. Dicyanoargentate complex is formed, and you can see that we can recover from this. The silver. What we will do? React AgCN2 minus with zinc, and what will be the result of this? Zinc forms a zinc acts as a reducing agent. It is more powerful than silver. It will reduce the silver. Silver is in +1 oxidation state. So what it will do? It will form a complex with cyanide, which is my 2 minus, and the result is you will get silver. So in this reaction, what we have done, that we have been able to do the leaching of the silver. Similarly, I can write the same reactions for the gold also. Gold and silver are both leached by this process, and this is a very important question for exam, have been repeatedly asked students. The leaching of gold and silver by NaCN or KCN is a very standard question in the examination. So you should be very clear about this, that this question is going to be asked to you in the examinations. What I am saying, for example, if I want the leaching of gold by KCN, then what I will do, here I have gold, I will react with KCN, students, and I have water, I put oxygen, then what is the result of this? Then a complex will be formed, AuCN twice. This is my silver here. This is produced. So to what you are getting, 4 AuCN complex. This is a gold is now in +1 oxidation state. Here gold is in 0. This has been oxidized. And you have 4 OH minus. Here the water is oxygen is oxidizing. They are oxidizing gold from 0 to +1 oxidation state. And once you get AuCN twice, students, here you can write 4K2. Okay? If you want to balance it. So 4K2 this. So this is a complex which is formed here in this case, or if I write like potassium is there, hydroxide is there, so there is no problem because these are counter ions. So we can write here like this also. So if you want to put it like this, you can put no problem. So you have 4K plus. So what is the story here? Gold from 0 to +1 oxidation state. In this case, So minus. So gold is oxidized from 0 to plus 1 oxidation state. Now we will get back the gold by reacting with zinc. So zinc acts as a reducing agent. What will happen? Zinc will form a complex 2 minus, and you are getting gold. So you will be able to recover gold by this method. This is what we are talking of, leaching of silver and gold by using dilute KCN or NaCN solution. That is the end of leaching process, students. In my next lecture, I will discuss the roasting and calcination processes.